Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the research to uncover the absolute best filter maintenance routines for goldfish. If you've ever felt like, you're doing everything completely right, but you're still struggling to keep your tank safe and your fish healthy, well, we're about to reframe absolutely everything you thought you knew. We really need to start by addressing an incredibly frustrating phenomenon that plagues so many aquarium owners. Picture this. Your goldfish become sick or even die just days after you've performed a really deep, thorough clean on their tank. I mean, it seems completely backwards, doesn't it? Well, the science behind why this happens is actually fascinating. In this explainer, we're going to cover exactly why your tank might be crashing. We'll go through the fatal cleaning mistake, biology inside the filter, goldfish and high bioloads, the correct maintenance routine, and finally, staggering your tank maintenance. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the fatal cleaning mistake. There is a massive misunderstanding in fish keeping. We tend to think our filter's only job is to trap dirt and look sparkling clean. But in reality, your filter functions as a living, breathing, biological ecosystem. So a filter that looks a little brown and dirty might actually be incredibly healthy. The research points out that you should only be cleaning it based on a noticeable reduction in water flow, not just because it looks a bit messy. Here's how the trap works. When you aggressively overclean your filter, say by scrubbing it under tap water until it looks brand new, you enter this really deceptive danger window. At hour 0, the filter is cleaned. For the first 24 hours, your goldfish are going to behave perfectly normally. But behind the scenes, your biological filter has been totally wiped out. By the 72-hour mark, a delayed lethal ammonia spike hits the water. The crash doesn't happen instantly, which is exactly why this mistake is so incredibly easy to make. Let's move to Section 2, biology inside the filter. To truly understand why this delayed crash happens, we have to look at what's actually going on inside that plastic box. Your filter works in 3 distinct layers. First, you have mechanical filtration. These are the sponges that trap physical debris like poop and uneaten food. Second, chemical filtration, like activated carbon, which removes dissolved impurities and odors. But the third layer? Biological filtration, which is usually housed in things like ceramic rings. This layer is literally your primary defense against toxic waste. So here's the real kicker. That brown, slimy gunk you've been trying so hard to scrub away, it turns out that is highly beneficial biofilm. It's a living bacterial layer that converts toxic ammonia into safer compounds every single second of the day. So removing it completely effectively resets your entire tank's biology straight back to 0. Next up is Section 3, goldfish and high bioloads. Preserving this biology is absolutely crucial for goldfish in particular because they are notoriously heavy waste producers. Aside from the solid waste that you can see, goldfish are constantly excreting dissolved waste. And get this, they excrete toxic ammonia directly into the water, primarily right across their gills. They are basically little underwater fertilizer factories. Because this waste is invisible and it's constant, having a robust, fully established biological filter isn't just nice to have, it's a matter of life and death. Keeping multiple goldfish means you have what we call a high bioload. These guys are processing a massive amount of protein, which means your mechanical sponges can turn into solid blocks of sludge pretty quickly. When those sponges clog, they restrict the flow of oxygenated water. And guess what? Your beneficial bacteria desperately need that oxygen to survive. If the flow stops, the bacteria die off and your tank crashes. All right, let's get into the solutions. Section 4, the correct maintenance routine. Now that we know what's at stake, let's walk through the exact steps to safely maintain your hardware. This right here is the absolute golden rule. You must stop rinsing your filter media under the sink. The chlorine and chloramine in your tap water act as a potent disinfectant, so running your filter sponges under tap water will instantly kill the beneficial bacterial colonies you've worked so hard to grow. The best practice? Always rinse your filter media in a bucket of used tank water. So what's the actual step-by-step? During your normal water changes, you're going to follow this specific sequence. First, obviously, unplug the filter. Then, siphon some aquarium water straight into a bucket. Here's the key part. Gently swish your sponges and media in that bucket just to remove the heavy restrictive sludge. Don't scrub them spotless. Next, use a small brush to clean the impeller. That's the little spinning fan inside the motor, just to keep it running smoothly. Finally, reassemble and prime the filter. This whole process clears the gunk but keeps your biofilm totally alive and active. When we're talking about the best filter maintenance routines for goldfish, The half and half rule is a total game changer. Never clean all your biological media at once. If you have multiple sponges or, say, several trays of ceramic rings, gently wash half of them this week and leave the other half completely alone until your next maintenance session. This guarantees that a massive population of bacteria remains undisturbed to carry the load while the cleaned half recovers. Also, because your bacteria population is always going to take a tiny hit after any cleaning, you should proactively lower the food intake for your goldfish for 24 to 72 hours afterward. It's a simple trick, but it lowers the amount of waste entering the water, giving your biofilter the precious time it needs to bounce back before the waste load peaks again. It's just a brilliant way to ensure stability. Finally, let's look at Section 5, staggering your tank maintenance. To keep everything perfectly stable long-term, we need to weave your filter cleaning into a wider schedule. But the good news is, there is no strict calendar date for a deep clean. Just follow these visual cues. Daily, take a quick look for good surface water movement. Weekly, check the inlet cage to make sure a stray leaf isn't blocking it. And generally, every 3 to 4 months, or specifically when you notice the water flow has reduced by about 20%, well, that's your cue to perform that gentle media rinse we just talked about. I absolutely love this quote from our sources because it hits the nail right on the head. Clean the filter one week and vacuum the gravel the next. You really want to avoid the trap of spring cleaning your entire tank in a single afternoon. If you scrub the glass, vacuum all the gravel, and clean the filter all at once, you're removing way too much beneficial bacteria from the environment, and you will definitely trigger a mini cycle. Always stagger your chores. Okay, here's a massive tip the manufacturers might not want you to know. Actually, scratch the whole disposable cartridge idea. Stop throwing away your filter cartridges every month just because the box tells you to. When you throw away a cartridge, you are throwing away your entire biological filter. Instead, customize your filter with reusable sponges. Only replace them gradually when they literally start falling apart. And when you finally have to, cut the old sponge in half and put it right next to the new one so the established bacteria can seed the fresh material. Having the right gear makes this a breeze. Investing in quality equipment can really help out here. Some internal filters are actually designed with 2 separate chambers. It's a brilliant design because it allows you to easily remove and clean one individual sponge while leaving the other completely intact. It practically automates that half and half rule for you. Which brings us to our final, critical question. Are you treating your filter like a trash can or the beating heart of your goldfish's ecosystem? By shifting your mindset to protecting a living habitat rather than just scrubbing away dirt, your water will stay crystal clear and your goldfish will totally thrive. So, next time you go to unplug that filter, are you cleaning for looks or are you cleaning for life?